Greetings, everyone. Hope all of you are having a fantastic day. Let's get right back into Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. And we just left here, but I'm wondering if I go back in, will the trial be over and it'll let me talk to Shamira? I don't remember if that's the case. Still not clear. Hey, there we go. Let's give this a whirl. A red-haired, beautiful demon sits majestically on the throne, an aura of bright light blazing around her. It's not the gentle, life-giving light that shines on Golarion. This light blinds, withers, makes a person burn with fever, draining their strength. And who do we have here? The latest wanderer from another world coming to seek my patronage? Shamira throws a casual glance at Arueshalae and raises an eyebrow in surprise. So, the rumors were true. Arueshalae, you really are making friends with mortals now? I must admit I found it hard to believe such a worthy daughter of the Abyss has fallen so low. Shamira falls silent but receives no answer. Well, not that I really care. I have a few questions. With a sigh, Shamira hisses irritably under her breath. Curse Nocticula's hospitality for bringing these strangers from other planes to my city and my harem. I want to know more about Nocticula. Pursing her lips in a smug smile, Shamira answers with venom in her voice. What exactly are you expecting to hear from me, beyond what any other resident of Alanshura could tell you? Yes, I am closer to Nocticula than anyone else, but do you really think I'll spill her secrets to you? Our Lady in Shadow doesn't like to be discussed behind her back, and the scope of her realm, the entire Midnight Isles, proves that her anger can be extremely dangerous. She is worshipped on many planes, including Golarion, right? At night, she sometimes comes to insane rapists and murderers and paints in their minds pictures of immortality and horror, masterpieces of lust and despair. She is the first succubus, the most powerful and most seductive, the murderer of countless demon lords and usurper of their abyssal realms. Over the bodies of her victims, she climbed to unbelievable heights, and now she stands far above her lonesome brother, Sokoth Banath. Thus, she has proved her victories were gained not just by the means of her power, but also by her great intelligence and willpower. She was strong, beautiful, and free. Sounds like a beginning of a fairy tale, Camellia says thoughtfully. What kind of a harem is this? Shamira snaps irritably. What do you think? Because I am Shamira, the ardent dream, the chosen lover of the great Nocticula? Every time she grows weary of plots and conspiracies and craves wild passion and warm caresses, she comes here to her harem. I've seen you with Hepsamira at the flesh markets. Tell me about her. Hepsamira is an honored guest here in Alanshura. I'm not going to discuss her with every stranger I meet. How did you achieve such a high standing? You don't know my story? This explains why you're not on your knees before me. I was once a celestial being, and my fiery wings carried me from the upper planes to insignificant little worlds like your Golarion. I gifted fantasies and dreams, kindled flames in the wild minds of dreamers, and I loved it. Sometimes these fantasies took shapes too daring and unbridled, or so it seemed to me, but I made no effort to stop it. A dream is a bird, not a horse. You can't restrain it, you can only hurt it with your reins. The dreams I saw were becoming more daring, bolder, and with them, I changed as well. One day, I rejected the limits imposed on me by my masters. In the world I was visiting, a wildfire of dreaming broke out. A dream so daring and bold, it could come to fruition only through great atrocities and monstrous, immoral deeds. I could have stopped it, but I didn't. I was mesmerized by this great vision. I didn't return to my world as I would not be accepted. Instead, I descended into the abyss, looking for someone who would truly appreciate me and the dreams that I bestow. Nocticula noticed my flame blazing over the dark waters of the ocean. She came for me and shrouded me in her shadows. That night was very memorable. Since then, I have served her and have been her closest friend and her right hand. Do you really hate Asimars and killed them brutally? Shamira smiles, looking very much like a large and hungry cat that has just spotted its next victim. Oh, yes, it is an incomparable pleasure to gradually deprive them of everything they once had. First their hope, then their noble appearance, their innocence, and finally, their life. When they scream, renouncing everything they once believed in, their masters, their gods, their heritage, it is music to my ears. Shamira's eyes narrow, her expression unkind. Do not for a moment think I am unaware of who stole that batch of young Aasimar women from me, the ones who've been shipped to Diank in the flesh markets. I'll remember that, Galorian. Interesting. I have no more questions. Shamira responds with an icy smile. I was happy to satisfy your curiosity, you annoying and talkative mortal. I came here seeking your patronage. Shamira looks you up and down with a contemptuous expression, then answers with a scoff. So what use can you be to me, you foolish little mortal? The most powerful demons serve me. What can your pitiful self offer me that they can't? In your mind, Shamira's voice sounds calmer, though it is still arrogant. In truth, there is one thing you can help me with, Galorian, but the others mustn't know about it. Work for me, and I'll grant you a share of my attention and patronage. No doubt you have already heard of the Nehedrian crystals, objects of astonishing power that grant their owner incredible abilities. Everyone in Alan Shura knows they exist, but no one knows what they are or where to get them. No one except for that smug cow Shamira. I want you to find out what they are. My advice is to start searching in that pile of refuse known as the Lower City. Ask for Ziforian, my predecessor, now a beggar. If that pathetic wretch is still alive, he may know something. Now go, and don't bother returning until you have the information I need. Here, take my mark, so the ark near my palace will let you in. I don't want to waste my time waiting while you wind your way back through the streets of my city with valuable information. Your pack becomes a bit heavier, as if some new item has appeared inside it. The hand of Inheritor addresses you, an undercurrent of alarm in his words. I see greed in the eyes of this fiend. She's ready to offer you a deal, and I sense that more than idle interest lies behind it. We both know Nehedrian crystals can make demons immensely powerful. We are pursuing Shamira to prevent her from creating and unleashing upon us an army of mythical monsters transformed by these crystals. Yet, if you reveal the secret of the crystals to Shamira, we risk simply trading one enemy for another. Our mission demands that we make concessions, but it does not mean we must blindly obey every demon's request. Weigh each of Shamira's words. Remember how cunning she is, and do not let her turn you into a tool she can use to commit atrocities. Armor your heart and do only what you must, not what she, with all her promises and charms, will try to convince you to do. And be prepared to find a knife in your back at any moment. So you and Shamira aren't friends, I take it? In your mind, Shamira's voice answers with an arrogant scoff. Be friends with that miserable cow? Of course not. I'm courting her to learn her secrets, but it's a constant struggle not to put her in her place. Baphomet's minions are far too bold here in Alan Shunra. Tell me about these crystals you're so interested in. You haven't heard of Nehedrian crystals? Ha! Are all Galarians so stupid and unobservant? They are purple crystals. Possessing them grants immense power. Unfortunately, only high-ranking servants of Baphomet know where to find them or how to use them. They use the crystals to gain tremendous power, and now they strut around Alan Shunra like they own the place. Why should I look for Ziforian? When I first heard about the crystals, it reminded me of the last days of Ziforian's rule. He was Nocticula's right hand before me. He was planning a coup, and I was spying on him to turn him into Nocticula and take his position. I remember that he was trying to get his hands on a purple crystal of some kind, and that he eventually succeeded. I didn't pay much attention at the time, but the current situation makes me think perhaps it was a Nehedrian crystal he was after. If so, Ziforian might know something about them. Where should I look for Ziforian? There's a note of disgust in Shamira's voice. In the depths. If he is still alive, the gravity of Nocticula's punishment would have dragged him to the very bottom of Alan Shunra. Dig through the garbage, talk to the vagrants and beggars. You surely don't expect me to do it, do you? Why did you choose me for this mission? Shamira answers with an exasperated sigh. Because you are neither a demon nor a resident of Alan Shinra. You are a wild card, an insignificant Galarian. No one is interested in your exploits, and you will not draw any unnecessary attention. You are not bound in service to any demon, and therefore, if you dig up any information, you will bring it to the one who will pay you the most for it. That is to say, me. You won't run to your master because you don't have one, at least not here in the Abyss. If I gave this task to one of my servants, I could be sure of only one thing. They would sell the information about my interests to my enemies, and then, if they learned about the crystals, they would use this information to benefit themselves instead of bringing it to me. Everything is clear. Wonderful, because this conversation is beginning to bore me. I have to go. Go now, come back when you have something useful. My time is precious, and I can't waste it on every mortal who fancies a chat. All right, all right. So first, let's visit Ziforian, and then we'll head back to camp. And actually, since we're standing here, I wonder. Excellent. Let's make sure the pets are good. Or pet, rather. There we go. Alright. Tell you he's in Lower City. Bliss. Let's see if they still kept them in the same spot. Oh, that's the arena. Okay, save here. Spare me some gold. I fought on Galarian. Huh. Alright, so he's not in the same spot anymore, I guess. The beggar raises his eyes to you, his gaze clouded by dull anger. What you want? How can I find Ziforian? Eh? Who? Who's that? Never heard of anyone by that name. And if anyone has heard of him, they won't be telling you anyway. You might find a beggar in the lower city who will be willing to chat with you, but before you find him, you'll have worn through those nice boots of yours. That's one good pair of boots. It'd be a shame if you ruined them. How about you just give it to me instead? Eh? Who are you? A beggar screwed over by fate. Can't you see for yourself? Tell me what you need or piss off. Maybe a small donation would jog your memory? Know what? Better be on your way now. I don't need no money and no shady deals with you. I don't want to know who you're looking for. I'm leaving. Yeah, get lost. Look for this Zeph, for that freak you're looking for somewhere else. If you want him that bad, ask around. Maybe someone saw him. But leave me alone. Can't beg with you hanging around. Commoner. Spare some gold.
I can see my destination.
Swear that's him, but looking for a piece of me. They keep saying they love my boots. You want to know a rumor? You go into a tavern. I'm looking for Ziforian. Do you know where he is? Maybe I do and maybe I don't. It's not my place to gossip with the guest. I'm an innkeeper, not a spy. So buy yourself something to drink and stop wasting my time. I've got a special liquor you should try too. A true rarity. 100,000 gold. Good lord. The liquor is revolting, savoring of rotten meat and mold, but the aftertaste is surprisingly tart and pleasant. The demon gives a short, creaky laugh as if a swarm of crickets had awakened in his lungs. Ziforian, eh? Hardly anyone remembers that name. He was an ambitious son of a bitch, sharp and tenacious, but he was hasty in his attempts to overthrow Nocticula. Nocticula remembers quite well how she was underestimated by the demon lord Varaxus, so she dealt with Ziforian before he could stab her in the back. She ruined him completely. Well, when that lump of bleeding flesh opened his eyes and moaned, we were shocked it still lived and breathed. On that day, Ziforian's name was relegated to Alan Shearer's past and forgotten. But I've seen him once or twice among the Berserkers. He sits at the threshold of the Battle Bliss arena, begging for gold, and no one recognizes him. Nocticula did not just break his body, but his spirit. So far as I know, he has never tried to take his vengeance on her, and he has plenty of reasons to want revenge. Oh yes, I'm leaving. Then piss off, stranger, and stay away from the diseased. If you try to bring some crap here, I won't let you in. Okay. Oh, I forgot to give that to Woljif. Spell resistance 21. Mighty Constitution. Show me your wares. Get this organized. Set all this. And that. Sorry, I always gotta search and find out if I have silver power and diamond. I do not. Okay. Now, Battle Bliss. So it is this guy, but you have to figure that out. Interesting. The vagrant is repulsive, even by the standards of the Abyss. His lumpy, scarred face makes you think he was put through a meat grinder, then shaped back into the semblance of his former body, and left to live out his life. His tall and once impressive figure has been shattered. His shoulders are twisted by a hump in his back, clearly the result of an old, devastating injury, while his arms are covered in the protruding lumps of unset bones that were left to heal improperly. Damn. The beggar is clad in many layers of dirty, smelly rags onto which hundreds of keys are sewn, from tiny toy box keys to a giant cast iron key that bows the demon's neck almost to the ground. So, you're looking for Ziforian. He's long dead, but that doesn't seem to be stopping you. Well, so what do you want with a dead man? Ziforian, the master of lies and trickery. I remember fighting him. What do you know about Nehedrian crystals? There's a tale told in Alan Shinra, a tale about crystals that grant immense power. But what exactly are they and from where do they draw this power? No one seems to know. I've seen something like it only once before. I found the first crystal on the Isle of Vazglar, and it seemed useless to me. It contained a great deal of power, but it was no use whatsoever. I meant to give it to my patron, as he would have found a way to use it, but I never had the chance. Some feeble mortal mage managed to steal the crystal from me. He locked himself in a tower, examined the crystal, studied it, and managed to find some use for it. But he was under Nocticula's protection, so I never tried to hunt him down. The demon grins unpleasantly. I bet you're thinking I'm just going to tell you the name you seek and then you could rush out to have a chat with that mage. Not a chance. The mage wasn't a demon. He was a mortal who served Nocticula's arcane needs back in the day. Kicked the bucket long ago. All that's left of him is a tower in the upper city, locked and protected by magic. Many have tried to get inside in the hopes of stealing something of value, but their remains rotted long ago. No use talking about them now. Ah, but you're curious now. You'd like to have a poke around in that tower, wouldn't you? Perhaps you could find something of use in there, yes? Ziforian gives a mocking grin, then sighs and takes a single key from his rags, handing it to you with a sweeping gesture. Take it while I'm still feeling generous. This will open the tower gates. When I ruled Alan Shinra, I made sure I had a key for every hideout and tucked away nook in the city. You never know when they might come in handy. Here, take this and get lost. No one will throw me a coin with you hanging about. Perception 40. Take a closer look at this surprisingly selfless demon. Something spiteful and vicious lurks in the depths of this beggar's eyes. He looks like a predator waiting in ambush, or rather, a scavenger waiting impatiently for his prey's agony to finally end so he can enjoy his meal. Whatever his motives, this demon obviously does not wish you well and is already counting down the minutes to your imminent demise. I remember. I've heard of this place. It's a tower supposedly filled with treasures, like left there after the death of an ancient mage. But no one could prove there is any truth to these rumors because not one of the daring adventurers who managed to get in ever returned. The place is a death trap. Ziforian is probably just toying with us. He's pretending to be helpful only to send us to certain death. You're lying to me. You're lying to lure me into a trap. The demon's ugly maw breaks into a malicious grin. You'll probably die there. Or maybe you won't and you'll find out what Shamira wants. It was Shamira who sent you, right? She was the one who turned me into Nocticula back in the day, and now she wants to topple her mistress and take her place, just as I once tried to. That's why she wants those crappy crystals so much. So be it, I say. Whoever loses this fight, I'll be the winner, and I'll savor the outcome. You, Shamira, Nocticula, may you all drop dead, tear out each other's throats, and strangle each other with your own intestines. You're all scum, and I'll piss on your corpses as they float by on an ocean of your blood. Share your knowledge with me. I know a lot about Alan Shinra, and about his current ruler, too. Trust me, staying in power in this city wasn't easy. What would you like to know? What did you do to fall so low? I was overly hasty. I had power back then, and it grew with every passing day. Lamashtu's belch. I was just a step away from becoming more powerful than Nocticula and toppling her from her throne. And why not? After all, that's exactly how she got where she is now after she took down that toothy old freak, Raxvagus, whatever his name is. I was about to start my coup. It had even found a powerful patron, Sokothbanath, Nocticula's brother, who held a serious grudge against her. But before I had time to start, that sly mortal mage stole an important thing from me, a thing that could have shifted the balance of power. And then that red-headed little bitch learned about my plans. She turned me into Nocticula, and she struck before I could. I fell, and the red-headed harlot took my place. Ah, Shamira. I should have strangled you the moment you appeared in the abyss. You were stripped of everything you once were. That's terrible. I understand, I really do. But why did you decide to become like this? When someone takes away your past, you are free from it. Why didn't you want to become someone new? It's as if you were broken, then badly glued back together. Do you really like living like that? Ziforian cackles hoarsely, Do you really think I had a choice? Do you think I wanted any of this? Everyone has a choice. You can leave this alley anytime, go to a place no one knows you, and become whoever you want. But for some reason, you keep sitting here. What do you think of Alan Shinra today? It's the same pile of crap it was when I was in charge. Here in the Abyss, everything changes constantly, but nothing really changes at all. I could tell you how much better the city was when I ran things, but it would be a lie. Back in my day, it was no different. Just as I did, Shamira rules this crazy lot with an iron fist, subduing them through terror and violence. It doesn't take a genius to do that. You just need to be absolutely ruthless and have enough power to be able to drown any insolent scum in his own blood. Actually, it can be done by any brainless Discarite who can crush mountains but can't count how many corpses are impaled on his spiky claw. Got any advice on how to survive this place? The demon responds with fervor, the words positively bursting out of him. Do not trust anyone, and once you ascend high enough, be especially suspicious of the unexpected gifts that will suddenly start being showered upon you. No one here does anything without a reason. With a bitter chuckle, the incubus makes an obvious effort to stem this outpouring of hard-won knowledge. That's enough about that. Whatever you say, stranger, I'm leaving. With a malicious grin, the incubus croaks hoarsely as you leave. Enjoy your walk around Alan Shinra. All right. Cool. Now we can go back to camp. Turn Greybor and Arueshalae back in. Ooh. Woljif isn't looking at you. His tail twitches nervously from side to side. Chief, Woljif scratches at the back of his head, painstakingly choosing each word. I went someplace, you see, to an abandoned mansion. It's in the upper city, not far from Nocticula's palace. You can't miss it. What do you mean, you went to an abandoned mansion? Well, I walked. Use my feet. You know that's how people walk. Woljif shifts his feet back and forth like he's dancing on hot coals. I woke you up. We're not complete strangers, you know. I need this, Chief. I've been thinking a lot here about myself and you and the middle of the abyss. And yeah, all right, I'm lying. I didn't think I tried not to think. Only the shadow started talking to me, even when I didn't want it to. It told me where to go and said I need to come to terms with who I am. But maybe I don't want to understand. Maybe I'm better off being kept in the dark. Woljif takes a small breath. I already know who I am. I'm a poor thief and a loser, born at the wrong time in the wrong place to the wrong people. But I want to be stronger, you know? I'm used to this wind in the abyss. And if it can give me even more, I'll take it. Otherwise, this voidtail will keep bothering me to the end of my days and everyone else will keep kicking me around. I know I'm kind of in your gang, your party, and that helps things. But it can't keep going like this forever, you know? Everything's going to fall apart someday and the party will fall apart too. I need this power. Wait, did your shadow speak again? What exactly did it tell you? Woljif takes a breath. Here in the abyss, the shadows become completely different. It crawls out when it wants. It makes sense when it talks. It says I got an inheritance, some power that can get rid of royalty once and for all. I'll get it if I go to Igafale's old mansion in the upper city, and there's riches in it too. I'd never turn down a chest of gold, you know. Can I speak to this shadow? Yeah, no problem. Woljif concentrates, tries to summon the shadow, but nothing happens. No, it's not working. It's like my shadow doesn't want to come out. Stubborn as a mule has gotten, you know. It could be dangerous. I'm coming with you. Woljif says shoots up. What? Nah, Chief, it's my business. I'll figure it out myself. I just told you because I don't know why. I wanted to tell you. I always drag you into this mess with Voyatel. Just think of it like an apology, you know? But no more. If you want to come congratulate me once I got the power, you should come, but I'll do it myself. I don't want to get used to always running off to someone as soon as I need help. It's not normal. Friends don't abandon each other in difficult situations. I want to go with you. Friends? Oh, come on. Woljif turns away in embarrassment, trying not to grin. You know, I don't believe in stuff like that. Come on, then, if you're so desperate. You can stand and watch. You can act like you're my bodyguard if you want. I don't mind. All right. Have I spoken to Nenio since I've been here? I can't remember. That's what I thought. It's time for the experiment. I hope these words inspire as much enthusiasm in you as they do in me. What's the experiment about? You see, I have decided, though dared would be a better term, to address an issue which up to now I have preferred to avoid due to my total ignorance in this sphere. Nenio lowers her head in embarrassment. I realize it's hard to believe that I, as a person of, let's skip the false modesty, superior intellect, could not know something so simple, but it's never too late to fill in gaps in one's knowledge, right? I'm talking about friendship. To be honest, at first I planned to assign the writing of this article for the encyclopedia to a co-author of some kind, but then I met you, my loyal follower, and suddenly I thought I could write it myself. Nenio seems to have reached the limit of her courage, and she looks away. So you've never had any friends? I see no sense in them. Hold on, so you're trying to say that you consider me your friend? You misunderstand me. I don't need friends. I have no desire to spend my time on them when I can spend it on new experiments and discoveries. Nenio explains this to you as though she is speaking to a 5-year-old. I just want to learn what it's like to have friends for the encyclopedia, nothing more. I realize that you would like to consider me your friend. Who wouldn't? I'm a scientific luminary after all, so I do apologize for disappointing you. Well, if it needs to be done, we'll do it. Let's get started. I'm glad you've agreed. Many would have considered my request too personal and refused. It's good that you're above such squeamish sentiment. Hence, I've made a list. I based it on my observations of individuals around me and on my personal knowledge of the topic, which, I have to admit, is far from comprehensive. She hands you a crumpled piece of paper. Study it well. We'll start as soon as you're ready. Friends. Smile at each other. Gossip about other friends. Drink alcohol together. No longer required. Sometimes argue, sometimes copulate. Do we have to follow this list? Nenio looks at you with disapproval. You're trying to say that I made it for nothing? I've developed a perfect methodology that involves all the mechanisms of friendship between two individuals. But by all means, sure, let's just abandon the list. Point number 1. Friends, smile at each other. You raise your eyes to Nenio, who has already fixed a malevolent grin on her face. The kind that would make you soil yourself if you saw it in the dark of night. Respond with a brief smile. Keeping the unnatural grin on her face, Nenio hisses through clenched teeth. You call that a smile? Come on, try again. Give her a wide smile. Your eyes bore Nenio's as she stares right back at you both. Grin as widely as possible. A minute passes in tense silence. She massages her cheeks with her hands. I never imagined being a friend was such an exhausting business. So, what's next on the list? Point number 2. Friends gossip about their other friends. Ooh, I've made some preparations for that. She produces several pieces of paper from her sleeve. Come on, let's get to it. Who are we going to gossip about? Let's do Regal. Excellent choice. So, what do you think of him? He is a good friend and a fine comrade in arms. Oh, how interesting. Incidentally, yesterday I saw him. Nenio picks up a random piece of paper and reads it. Eating worms. That doesn't sound like him at all. Really? Excuse me, I'll try again. Yesterday I saw him. Nenio picks up another random piece of paper and reads it. Drinking from a puddle. Do you have any idea who we're even talking about? Nenio becomes a little embarrassed, but only a little. No, I don't make a point of remembering those I travel with. That's why I prepared these universally applicable pieces of gossip. She raises her fist with several pieces of paper clenched in it. Right, thanks for the info. Truth be told, this whole experiment seems like sheer stupidity to me. How can we learn that stupidity is stupid without doing stupid things? We need to finish what we started. She gives you a satisfied nod and stows her papers back in her sleeves. All right, stage 2 is now complete. What's next on the list? Point number 3, friends drink alcohol together. And then it says no more required. Oh, right, I should cross out this point. I wrote this and then I checked the encyclopedia and recalled that I've already conducted that experiment. And judging by the same encyclopedia, and especially by an odd stain on that particular page, it would be unwise, to say the least, to try and repeat it. Point number 4, friends sometimes argue. A new heap of paper appears in Nenio's hands. You are uninterested and disinterested in this experiment, and you can't even tell the difference between those two words. Hey, you kiss my ass. Not too creative, but it will do. Now we can definitely be considered friends. And on that note, I conclude the fourth part of the experiment. What's last on the list? Point number 5. Friends sometimes copulate. Oh, yes, that, Nenio sighs. Take off your underwear. Bravely pull down your underwear. Oh, uh-huh. Well. She produces a piece of paper from her sleeve and starts frantically covering it with drawings. What are you doing? Before copulation, I must make a sketch of your genitals for the copulation article in the encyclopedia. The provided drawing will interest many students and scientists who know only of copulation through secondhand accounts. Nenio is so ridiculous. Please stand still. Wait. Nenio is so engrossed with her task, she accidentally bites her tongue. It appears your copulation won't be happening today. Keep standing there with your underwear down. Keep waiting and hoping, though it is obvious that there will be no copulation today. Nenio is so absorbed in her work that the world around her, including you, seems to have ceased existing to exist for her. They probably meant cease to exist for her. Nice. Perhaps I should thank you for your help. You assisted me in dealing with all of Yo's schemes, even though you didn't need to do so. I am grateful for that. Can you explain to me just what kind of mess we've involved ourselves in? Greybor pauses for a moment and then slowly begins to explain. An anonymous client ordered Yoz, the head of the Assassin's Guild of Shamira, to kill Woljif. He tried to take the targets down several times, but Woljif turned out to be quite a tough nut to crack. Then Yoz gave me a new anonymous assignment: kill Darazan and tell him that Woljif sends his best regards. However, Yoz gave me a weapon that can only wound Darazan, not kill him. He hoped it would provoke Darazan and make him angry enough to go kill Woljif himself. Of course, you killed Darazan before he even had a chance to do anything else. When Yoz found out that we were both in the abyss and that I'd be eager to talk to Woljif, he started to give me hints as to where to find this fellow. We lived up to his expectations. Woljif died, and I'm sure you remember what happened next as well as I do. So we killed Woljif for no reason? The dwarf smiled cynically. Well, it depends on how you look at it. Was he to blame for the damage to our reputation? No. Was he an utterly disgusting creature whose face practically begged me to sink an axe into it? Did he try to kill us in his own manner? Were the creatures we encountered in some manner the most atrocious and perverted things I've ever met? The answer to all these questions is yes. I don't think anyone is going to cry themselves to sleep over his death, and neither should we. Your reputation has been restored. How do you feel? There's a spark of amusement in the dwarf's eyes. Don't panic. This will make people think twice before attempting to ruin my good name. But I'm grateful my companions didn't leave me to deal with this by myself, even though they have every right to do so. So while I'm used to working alone, I appreciate a team I can trust. It's good to have someone who's got my back. Protecting one's honor is important. Greybor nods in agreement. Who will we be without our reputation? A bunch of opportunistic scoundrels who will be driven away from every door. A dishonorable life isn't worth a copper. What do you think of your membership in the Assassin's Guild of Shamira? Greybor hides a smug smile beneath his beard. I think this position rightfully belongs to me. This guild is not as infamous as the Red Mantis, the legendary fanatic assassins who perceive their victims as offerings to their god Achakek, or in the silent monks of Anapexia who guard some kind of secret knowledge and murder anyone who dares to touch it. But its name still means something to the discerning client. Shamira is a crossroads between several different planes, and Yoz's assassins work not only in the Abyss and on Golarion, but also in many other interesting places. The fact that I was accepted into this society is undeniable proof of my professionalism. I'm glad that you did not insist on the exclusivity of our contract, but allowed me to reap the benefits of my hard work. I think everything is clear now. You've been a good employer, Commander. I'm glad I made this contract with you. We can stop there. Greybor nods silently and focuses on lighting up a freshly packed pipe. Whoops, not yet.
Without a doubt.
Drawing her ruby eyes away from the passers-by, Arueshalae looks at you. It's good that you're here. Shall we be silent together? You wanted to talk about what happened at Demacio's manor. Yes, I thought a lot about what he said and then I understood. Wait, I think it would be easier to show you instead of trying to explain everything. Will you follow me to my dream again, please? Let's go. Thank you. Arueshalae takes your hand in her small, searing palm, and the world around you begins to fade. Arueshalae's dream is filled with smoke, cold, ghostly fires devouring the dreams of others she has collected. Tears are flowing freely from her eyes, leaving faint trails on her soot-stained cheeks. Arueshalae, what's wrong? My dreams, it was all a mistake. Do you remember what we saw in Demacio's mansion? What he said about the dreams coming true? Food, riches, the demise of his enemies? The teary-eyed succubus looks at you. Desna asked me what I dreamed of. I tried to find an answer, I truly did. But look, are my dreams any different from the desires of demons? What's changed? What's the name of that bird that grabs everything shiny and carries it off to its nest? A goldfinch, right? I'm just like a thieving goldfinch that spies on people's dreams and hoards them away. But doing that hasn't changed me at all. I'm still the same greedy, cruel, lustful demon I've always been. That's not true. You're not like other demons. You do good. I force myself to do good every day. I help mortals. I protect them from other demons. But can my actions change my inner nature at all? If I'm still a demon inside, then what does it matter? What if, without even knowing it, I'm simply ingratiating myself with you so I can seduce, betray, and murder you? I don't want that, but my black heart does. Other demons don't dream. That's true, but this is my dream, and it's full of things that demons desire in reality. What are you going to do now? Now? Arueshalae looks at her burning dream with sadness. I have to start anew. I still have my own dream. I will cleanse it of others' desires and try to find my own. Arueshalae cradles a tiny flame in her palm and watches it dance on her fingers. I was so happy to receive my own dreams, and now it's so difficult to get rid of them. Will you help me destroy all this? I fear I won't manage on my own. I assume in the full game, there'll be something next to these hands, making it easier to know where you're supposed to go to burn stuff down. There we go. Arueshalae's dream has been swallowed by the flames. Ribbons of smoke drift away, carried by an intangible wind. A black shadow lurks in the darkness, staring at you. This is Arueshalae's ineradicable nightmare. The succubus touches the table. The fire not only failed to destroy it, it somehow made the table even more real. Arueshalae studies it with a mix of sorrow and confusion. What's wrong with this stupid table? Why didn't it burn? Your nightmare didn't burn either. No, it didn't. Arueshalae looks at the black shadow, which stares dolefully back at her. That thing won't leave this place. Ever. Think about it. Why this table? Why is it important? I don't know. I don't. Arueshalae knocks on the wooden surface. It's just a table. Anevia's fresh bread used to be here, but now it's gone. And yet the table remains. What if this is a real dream? Your own dream, and not something you've overheard? This table? The confused succubus traces the wooden surface with her fingers. Is this what I dream of? Furniture? What now? Is it truly the end of your dream? I don't know. I probably won't do anything yet. Everything is burned down apart from my nightmare and this table. You know, I might just... She cuts herself short and turns away, blushing a little. No, that won't do. Or, I'm sorry, I need some time. I need some time alone to think about it and sort it out in my head. Can we discuss this in a few days? For now, let's just go back to the real world. Do you like silence? I used to talk a lot before, and all of it was a lie. My words ruined so much. I like silence more now. I'm sorry that your dream turned into a nightmare. Don't be sorry for me. It's all a part of my journey, and it would be very naive to imagine my path to redemption as a sequence of pleasant dreams only. I've already described my countless evil deeds to you. Mortals suffer from nightmares born of their past, and I am glad that I had a chance to experience them as well. That shadow from your dream, who was that? Please don't ask. I don't want to be reminded of it. I knew him in the past, and I was hoping that he would never reappear in my life. We both caused each other a lot of pain. Please, don't make me relive it all again. Why did the shadow in your dream call you their venomous butterfly? Arueshalae doesn't look you in the eye. I poison him. My lies, my capriciousness, my temptation. No, I can't. Let's talk about something else. I'm sorry, but I don't want to remember who I used to be and what I used to do to others. Have you worked out yet what the table in your dream means? Not yet. I keep going back there to examine it, but it's still just a simple wooden table. What can it possibly signify? Arueshalae shrugs. It's a mystery. Perhaps I'll be able to solve it when we get back to Golarion. It is not very easy to dream here in the Abyss. I have to go. I will be watching you. Okay. So we need to go to the tower. And... who am I missing? Oh, Nenio, right. But no. We need to do the tower and we need to do Woljif's quest. Both of which are... here we go. Oh, and we need to go back and visit Shamira again, too. All right, but I think that's enough for one day. I appreciate everybody who watched. If you enjoyed this session, please go ahead and leave me a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I will see you all in the next video. Take care.